Hey, everybody. Reflections, episode 1, Feminism, Now What? So, I'm here just waiting for folks to come in. Really excited about what's happening. Really excited about what's happening. Today's topic is Feminism, Now What? I think I just said that. I'll say it again. While we're waiting, head over to Instagram and follow at AP Femininity. Get some good content over there. See my mom mug, some tea. Looks like we're having some problems. Hey, QT. Thanks for joining. So the reason I did it in this style is because I wanted you guys to be able to comment as my daughter is knocking over my cameras. She'll be joining us today too. Hi, Selena. Novella, can I have, can you set my camera back up? No? Can you set mommy's camera back up? Come say hi. Hi. Come here. She took my phone and took off. Thank y'all for joining. Seems like it's just the three of us right now. I'll give it another couple minutes. The topic of discussion is feminism. Now what? Feminism, now what? Thank you. This is going to be my look for the 2020. So you see I got my grays going on, which I love. So thank you. Ooh, wait, what's wrong? Am I doing it the right way? Okay, the right way. Novella, come here, mama. Took my camera. Say hi. Say hi. This is not a good first. It's not a good start. She said hey, and she took my phone back. Okay. Oh, we got somebody else in here. Who's in here? All right, we're going to give it about another minute. Can you guys hear me okay? Tell me something. Can you hear me okay? Hey, Gina. Auntie Gina. All right, good deal. Good deal. All right. That's my mom mug with my whiskey in it. Just kidding. No whiskey. Lemon ginger tea. But I hope some more folks join. This is the first Reflections Facebook Live podcast. I hope to continue this seasonally as we get really good topics to discuss. Last week, I think it was last week or maybe the week before last, I had I posted up a meme basically asking about men feeling like men. And it got so much backlash. It was like 477, almost 500 comments. And so I said, okay, well, it was clear within the comments that the people who were really angry about it clearly really didn't, they were operating out of their own fear. So I thought that having live discussions this way could help us as women connect with each other, and men too, sorry Q, but connect with each other and understanding some things. I feel like I'm preaching to the choir right now because two of the women in here raised me, and the other one is and then Q's my best friend. So mom life. That's what just happened. Yep. So Novella, she's a special guest today. She won't be here regularly. So do you guys have any questions before I go ahead and get started? Any questions? No. Okay, I just want to do a light history of feminism. So feminism actually kind of started, the feminist movement started with a few women, more so in the 1800s here in America. It was also going on overseas as well, over in Great Britain. But here in America, the feminists would fight for slavery, the freeing up the African slaves. They would fight against Jim Crow laws. They would fight for immigrant rights, different things like that, right? Then you fast forward to the 1900s. Susan B. Anthony, she started to fight for women's right to vote. Anita, my special guest is distracted. Started to fight for women's right to vote. So then you fast forward to the 1950s and 60s, you have people like Gloria Steinem and Betty Friedan who ignited the women's liberation movement, right? So I just wanted to give you that brief history and whatnot. If you guys want to talk more about it, we absolutely can, but that's not the focus of today's podcast. So when did Black women join the feminist movement? Black women joined the feminist movement with Gloria Steinem in the 1960s and 70s, right? So this was with Alice Walker, Toni Morrison, who else? Angela Davis. There was a few people who were heavily involved in pushing the feminist narrative, right? So the women's liberation narrative. So I say all of that to say, Audre Lorde too. I have some notes here. So Audre Lorde too. And what I think was initially, they did have a purpose, right? So the women's liberation movement was specifically for women's reproductive rights, right? So at that time, white women weren't allowed to, middle class white women weren't allowed to obtain birth control or get abortions without the approval of their husband or father, right? Black women, on the other hand, they were giving Black women and sterilizing them without even their permission, let alone their husbands, and fathers. So reproductive rights was an issue on both sides of the aisle for both Black women and white women. Then you had white women who wanted the right to work, right? Black women legally could not be stay-at-home moms. They did not have the option. You know, like even people like, you wouldn't know this, but Coretta Scott King, right? She was a singer. Do you ever wonder why Rosa Parks was a secretary? It was because legally, for most states in this country, women were not allowed to, Black women were not allowed to be stay-at-home moms, just to focus on their own families. If they were not working in the fields, they had to be of some kind of domestic service to a white woman. And this really started with like Jim Crow laws and white women complaining during World War I while their husbands were away. They needed help, and Black women were no longer slaves, so they couldn't force them to do it. And if they didn't want to work, they didn't have to work, right? So now, 1970s, you have this push for feminism, and Black women's feminism got swept under the rug while white women's feminism came to the forefront and whatnot. So now, ultimately, for white women, feminism, them and white men, they just weren't listening to each other. White men, white women, they just weren't listening to each other. White men were saying, hey, I want this. White women were saying, hey, I want that. There was no common ground. So now we get roped up into this, right? Not to also mention that Alice Walker, Audre Lorde, even Bell Hooks, they were all lesbians, right? So they didn't necessarily have a footing or a desire to preserve the Black family unit at the time, right? So I think Bell Hooks is currently speaking a different tune, but at the time they didn't have any full interest in preserving the Black family unit. Where does that leave me? Oh, right. So white men and white women were just not listening to each other because they both have so much social capital and influence. Because they both have so much social capital and influence, Black women got roped into it. Because we clearly had our own issues, right? So we had the civil rights movement, and we were struggling. Our men were struggling. At this time, crack cocaine and heroin got introduced to our communities, right? AIDS got introduced to our communities. So now our men's dying. Then the Vietnam War, our men's are gone. You know, they're dying left and right. So a lot of Black women, they felt like they were being failed by their men, while at the same time they have this anger that's really coming from the white women's feminist liberation movement. What other issues did we have? Come here. Come say hi. Come say hi. Say hi. Say hey. Huh? So she's just hanging out for today. Come on, just have a seat here. Just have a seat. Okay. Say hi. All right. So white women's issues had nothing to do with us because our issues definitely were not the same. And feminism definitely served as a distractor, right, from our issues, from the issues at hand. Like just like today, how the LGBTQ movement, although I felt like it was definitely necessary to have, because everyone deserves the right to love who they want to love and marry whomever they want to marry. But it definitely turned into a distraction from civil rights movements, right? From the Black Lives Matter, from mass incarceration, from the problems with our education systems within most Black communities or whatnot. Police brutality, Black Lives Matter, right? What else? Poor food. Like the issues just keep piling up for us, like real health hazard issues or issues that keeps us from living full lives. But yet people are more focused on the right, to outwardly love or, and marry their same-sex partner or whatnot. And I think it really hit the Black community a lot harder than it hit some other communities. And again, it's just serving as a distractor. Feminism was a distractor, because if you fast forward today, how has the women's liberation movement helped Black women, right? So look at it from this perspective. You have, white women were fighting for the right to work. Black women were fighting for the right to have the option not to work. Black women are still workhorses, right? And we did it to ourselves. Like most of us are, the minute one of us say, oh, I want to be a stay-at-home mom and just raise my children and take care of my home, how many of us actually shame her? Right or wrong? What are some other issues that I mentioned? Reproductive rights, right? Reproductive rights turned into a Planned Parenthood on every corner in the hood, right? So now Black women have not options, but have access to birth control regularly, or abortions, to the point where they're using abortions as a form of birth control, right? So now the Black population is dropping. What else? So the right to work, reproductive rights. I think that's good enough. Black womanism, right, and feminism. I guess the focus for Black women was sexism, classism, and racism, and none of those are addressed within feminism, right? So then white women became more liberated, and they got the right to have sex with whomever they want to. You know, Black women never did not have that right. You know, classism and racism are clearly civil rights issues that should have remained within the civil rights movement, right, and not moved on to this women's led feminist movement. I know I'm saying a lot about how bad feminism is for the Black community, but I am not against it. You know, I'm actually for it, for what it actually means, right? Feminism, for the right to, for equality, right? Same access to the same health, economics, you know, political rights, etc. I'm all for that. What I'm not for is the shaming of women and other people who choose to do something different, right? Who choose to be stay-at-home moms, right? Who chooses to have a husband and raise their kids, right? Who don't choose to be a single mom or whatnot. That's not the direction that they want to take their life in or whatever. Right. Let's see, where are we? Oh, here's a good one. So who told us that Black men were predators? I really would like you guys to interact. If you have questions, I know it's only a few of us in here, but who told us that Black men were predators? You know, because that's a big one that kept coming up the other day, was how certain men, you know, want to control you, right? Or how a lot of women fear Black men because we're told to fear Black men. But who told you that? Do you have like a hand-to-hand experience where a Black man has done something to you that, one, you didn't initiate, i.e. you hit him first, right? Or which I still don't condone, but or you know, that's something that actually happened to you, like a one-hand account or first-hand account on something that happened to you that then caused you to then turn around and hate Black men. Oh, welcome, people. Welcome. Hi, Anna. Hi, Elle. Hi, Corey. Thank you, Kathy. I'm trying. Let me know if I'm talking too fast. If you guys have questions, bear with me. This is my first time doing this. I got a new hairstyle. So I hope to keep going, but I need your interaction if you guys want me to keep doing this. So yeah, the question still stands, like, who told you that Black men were predators? Don't say Hillary Clinton, you know, but who told you that Black men were predators, right? Who told you to disregard Black men's feelings? You know, who told you? Because the other day, that was a lot of the conversation, was that like, why should we even care how they feel? You know, it was, why should we even care how they feel? You know, it should be all about me. But who told you to disregard Black men's feelings? Who told you that Black men were predators? So, so the trick bag in feminism, right, is a white men's patriarchy. So the entire time, white men were pulling the strings, right? So you have actually the Rockefellers who even funded the women's liberation movement, whatnot, because they didn't have enough people in the workforce. You know, they wanted to drive capitalism even more so. So they needed more people in the workforce. You know, it's women aren't staying home anymore, right? White women specifically, they're not staying home anymore. They're in the workplace. Now kids are in daycares, and the earlier they get the kids, the sooner they can get mind control over them. You know, think about how all the kids today, how there's this huge struggle with them, whether they're suffering from depression or some sort of eating disorder. I think the kids are killing each other more so now than like ever before. So all of that happened because the mothers weren't in the home anymore, you know, and other people were raising children. Novella's my special guest, for those of you who don't know. So other people were raising children, right? So now you have the breakup of the home. So more single mothers working, more men working. You have the prison industrial system where you're sending all these black men off to jail, the ones that you weren't able to kill off in Vietnam. I was going to talk about the Willie Lynch letter and its impact on the black community, but I think I am going to hold off on that. Comments, concerns? No one saying that, who told you black men were predators? Here we go. Sorry. Society. I'm jumping in late. I find joy and brings a man's comfort, real shoulder, no matter race, culture. It's just friendship, just listening and loving, which leads to uplifting. Thanks for the comment, Corey. No, I completely get it. You know, like, men are strong. Girl, you gotta love me a man. I know I love me a man, you know? It's like this running joke in my office where I don't discriminate. Everyone has a preference, right? And I'm like, listen, a man is a man. So, but no, you're right, Clive. Society definitely tells us that black men are predators. Like, have we had anyone like hand-in-hand experience with, like, on a mass level, right? I do know, but this is across the board because the black man has been tormented just like black women in this country. But I know some black men have done women wrong, right? But as an overall generalization, I know some really amazing men I've always known in my life, right? My uncles, stepfather. Oh, somebody's sleepy. She didn't take her afternoon nap. Somebody's sleepy. Afternoon nap. So right. So the reason that I feel like the reason that we are so mean to black men, like as a whole, or black women are so mean to black men, is because of what we've been told about them, right? Not something that they've actually done that they've actually done to us, right? So we have a really bad habit of forgiving white men, right? Or other men, right? Any other men, Latino, Hispanic, Arabic, whatever, forgiving them before we forgive black men, you know? And you can see that in society now with Bill Cosby, right? Everyone's talking about Bill Cosby, but no one's talking about Harvey Weinstein, you know? I'm going to stay away from R. Kelly. I'm going to stay away from R. Kelly. I got nothing for R. Kelly. But I do think just as overall as people, we should be more forgiving to black people. The only way that we actually do forgive him is if he is some sort of entertainer, right? Chris Brown almost beat Rihanna to death, and we forgave him for the most part, right? Welcome. I know a lot of you guys are joining late, but I hope you like the content, and I want feedback. This is my first time doing something like this. My daughter, Novella, is our featured guest for today. who's taking a nap. So today's topic is feminism. Now what? So another point that I wanted to make was how feminism and femininity is not mutually exclusive, right? And so that tends to be the conversation that's had is that if you have one, you can't have the other, right? And that's not true. They have absolutely nothing to do with each other. Femininity is a state of being, right? Versus feminism is politics, right? I don't know if any of you know this, but women, we were free to roam and happy and not up under any kind of patriarchy or any man's thumb until about 5,000 years ago. No one really knows what happened and how we ended up in the position that we're in now. But yeah, feminism and femininity is not mutually exclusive, right? So during feminism, or the women's liberation movement, many of us just try our hardest to be like men. You got to think about it, especially me coming from the streets. The way to be was man-like, you know, like if you wanted to be tough, you was like a man, you know, not even realizing how I'm naturally tough, right? I bleed for 7 days and I don't die. Like I am naturally tough, right? Have you ever seen a man sick? It's got nothing on a woman. No, like as far as strength is concerned, physical strength men have, but like women have physical strength also, just in a different way. So my question now is, who told us that being men-like was more powerful than being a woman? Hey, Brittany girl. Glad to see you here. Hey, Hector. Z. So we can be submissive or acquiesce to our men's leadership, right? And I guess that wasn't a really great segue. So femininity, right, allows us to be submissive and acquiesce to our men's leadership in a responsible way, right? Not in an irresponsible way where we're following him, you know, driving off the cliff with 3 kids in the back seat and right straight into like the Connecticut River. Like that's not what I'm saying here. I'm saying that we can allow them to kind of like be the head of the family, right? So you guys make your decisions together. However, ultimately, like he, you know, at least make him feel like he's the final decision maker, right? But if you have a healthy relationship, then you guys will be making decisions together anyway. And you would have an incredible level of influence over him. So being a man hater really wouldn't be a thing. Guys, hold on just a second. I want to lay her down. Now I'm back. Okay. She was over there fidgeting with my bar. It's nothing but glass on the bar. She doesn't do it, but because I was preoccupied, I guess she must have felt like she was like, look, I'm gonna take advantage. I'm gonna take full advantage of this time right here, right now. So tell me your thoughts, Brittany and Hector. What do you guys think about feminism? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? So, I believe feminism took women out of the home, and it made some men really upset. And we just haven't been able to figure out how to work together as a unit since. I think the millennial generation, we're starting to get it, because I see Brittany and her husband doing really big things. I love seeing y'all photos. Any comments? I got to scroll down. Here we go. I think y'all go too far with some things. How so? Talk about it. Because I completely agree. And you got a lot of feminist bullies, and it's not fair. It's absolutely not fair, because at the end of the day, as Black women, we are no better off now than we were before. I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't think white women are either. You know, I think like I said, this was the trick bag called white male patriarchy. It's like we're gonna put you guys to work. Right now, you're not satisfied. So I don't know one woman who is actually satisfied with being a workhorse or whatnot, and not being able to be there for their children. Having some man or woman, someone above them, tell them that they can't go to their kids' basketball game, softball game, or whatnot. You can't be there for your child, and then before you know it, we had a generation of latchkey kids. So Hector, you want a woman to cater to you? What do you mean by we're too angry nowadays? I keep calling him Hector because he's are you Puerto Rican, Shane? I think he's Puerto Rican, but he's my friend, and we have our little joke. I think he calls me Sharquisha. Is that your name for me, Sharquisha? But I call him Hector because it's stereotypical. So also, okay, back on track here. So what, like now, right now with feminism has, as far as we've come, right, in your eyes, because to me, I don't really think we're any better off now than we were before. I actually think we're worse off. With feminism as it stands, right, and only if you're heterosexual, I feel like, are you worse off, if you're homosexual, I feel like life right now is amazing for you. But again, that's not my world, so I don't really know. Women think men have turned women too hard. Okay. Nowadays, women have to play a different role. What's the role? Speak on it, Brittany. Speak on it. Okay. So you're Italian and Puerto Rican. I got it. Speak on it. I wanted to start this podcast last week, but I had no voice whatsoever, and I almost had to postpone it again today because, as you can see, I keep doing that annoying cough up thing with nothing is coming up, but it just feels like my throat is clogged a little bit. It feels a little dry. Hence my lemon ginger tea in my mom mug. You mean men turned women? My bad. I mean, I do think a lot of men had a lot to do with it. But then I wasn't there in the 60s, 70s, and early 80s, right? I came along later on. But I do think, I'm not sure if this stuff was really happening or if it's a lot of stories just out of Toni Morrison novels, right? Because I believed a lot of things too based off of, and I really had to check myself, but it was based off of books like The Bluest Eye, or Song of Solomon. It wasn't based off of anything that I had experienced myself one-on-one, like any firsthand accounts, I have some really great uncles, like who they got their issues, but they are the most loving people I ever met, right? And that's on all sides of my family. That's on all sides of the family. But I do think women have a really hard time giving men chances nowadays, right? It's and the selfishness is like insane, right? So at what point are you saying to yourself, okay, what's his love language? And if a man if he's not, I'm no matchmaker, I am no by any means any kind of therapist or anything. This is just me speaking from my own experience and my own observations, right? I think that a lot of women nowadays, and specifically Generation X, right? So like my mom's generation, there's a lot of anger in the woman, and they say a lot of things with no real backing. Like there's no real reason for it. They have no they have no explanation for why they think the way that they do, and a lot of it is really, to me, it just comes out as fear and anger, like and pain, pain. Okay, let's keep going. I'm already 35 minutes in, y'all. So like I was saying, feminism and femininity is not mutually exclusive, right? And we've been told that being man-like is because men are somehow more powerful, right? So then we adopted this penis envy, which is crazy because I've never met a man that's more powerful than a woman. But it's not even about power, it's really about energy. Feminine energy and masculine energy literally need each other. It doesn't matter if it's coming from men or women, but we need each other. So if you see some relationships, right, let's say if the woman has a lot of strong masculine energy, the man has more feminine energy, right? If you see homosexual relationships, you'll see a masculine man with a feminine man, a masculine type woman with a feminine type woman. It's all about energy. It's not necessarily about power. And I think, honestly, I truly believe this, right? And don't crucify me for this, LGBT, but I think the transgender movement, and it's happening, it's so potent within men, is because we have so many women with masculine energy that it has to be offset some way, right? So if we are not living in our truth, right? If we are not being soft, right, and kind and giving into our emotions, because what happens is we tap into that fear, right? So now if what we really want to do is be soft and kind and hug and kiss or whatnot, we're not doing that because we're afraid, right? Maybe because we chose a man who hurt our feelings when the red flags were there. Sis, he already has 5 kids by 6 different women. Like, why are you with him? Or, he's on the sex offenders list, right? Like, why are you with him? Your first date, he conveniently lost his wallet or misplaced his wallet. Why are you with him? Like, why would you even, continue moving forward or whatnot? Like, and so now fast forward, he done broke your heart after you done seen the red flags from the beginning, right? But that's a woman thing though, right? We are very nurturing and giving. We're in giving. Well, I guess that's not true. We're more receivers than givers, right? Receivers than givers. Men are more givers. But anyhow, we like to believe in people. Where are we? Women are trying to get even with men, and we are all going into one big circle. That's because today's music has turned men more feminine and women's music is more manly. We have our guard up and scared to let it down. Brittany, I'm going to go with you because right now Hector's about to make me go in on him. So it's like, one, I want to know, how does the music make the men more feminine? One. And the thing is, I guess I do kind of agree with you when you say that women are trying to get even with men. Like, what are we getting even with them for? I feel like men have also been brainwashed, right? The last 30 years or so. And yes, Brittany, we have our guard up and we need to like really let it down because being feminine is being vulnerable. Corey, femininity is understanding you can contribute, but if a man can steer the ship, it is a release. Yes, sis, exactly. I'm gonna say that one more time. Femininity is understanding you can contribute, but if a man can steer the ship, it is a release. So hands off, back off, let him run the show. You just enjoy life as is. I personally have a man 3 years, don't live together, but I'm half reluctant to let him help a lot because I've been fine how I've been rolling, kind of scared. Need to let go and let the dice roll if he can keep up, but we forget it's not equal, it's balance. Exactly, sis. It's not equal, it's balance. His and hers is his, and hers to his. It's balance, because as women, we offer a lot. Just our presence offer a lot, So just like, think of it this way. There's God, and then there's Mother Nature. Mother Nature creates the beauty. God has his hand over everything else, but Mother Nature creates the beauty. And without beauty, we would all literally die. Yeah, the way men dress and act is a little suspect these days, but that's the new generation coming up. But again, they confused. They didn't have any real leadership, any real guidance. I think we're the last of the Mohicans. Did I say that right? Mohicans? Our presence means a lot to men. A lot to men. That's it. And we really, literally, just us being us it's so much to them. So much to them, right? So I forget what it's called exactly, but the doctor who wrote the book Post-Traumatic Slave Disorder, she mentioned that within the Black community specifically, right? And black women, when it came to their sons, would often try to protect them, right? Because of the world, right? They were either going to jail, they were going to war, they were being killed by police or whatnot. The streets were taking them. And it'll be a situation where, let's say, there's two students, right? There's two parents, two moms, a white mom and a black mom. And the black mom starts to say, hey, to the white mom, your son is doing so well. I hear he's on the honor roll and so on and so forth. And the white mom starts bragging, yes, he's so smart. He's doing this, he's doing that, so on and so forth. And then the white mom recalls that the black woman's son is actually doing much better than her son. He's in AP classes, right? He surpassed honor roll. He's in AP classes, which is college level classes. He is, playing basketball and football and running track and doing all of these really great things. But as the white mom starts to praise the black mom, she says, oh no, that boy's getting on my nerve and he's so bad. He can't keep his room clean, so on and so forth. And that is in an effort to keep him from being noticed, right? So to keep him protected in a way. So now fast forward, you see like that was happening years ago. Now you get to our generation, we do it, but don't even realize why we're doing it, right? When the threat isn't as great now as it was back then to them. So we really got to let up, because these men, these boys, they were boys, now they're men. They need us to be kinder to them. They need us to say nice things about them. They need us to be loving to them, the same love and affection and things that they weren't necessarily getting from their moms, and don't come for me about saying the love and affection they didn't get from their moms, because us as women, we like that masculine energy, the same energy that we got from our fathers, right? And a lot of us struggle with some daddy issues, some serious daddy issues that keep us from being vulnerable with men or being able to have effective relationships with them. Where we at, y'all? Because I got more stuff to cover, and I'm already 42 minutes in. Let's see. But to your point, Corey, our presence mean a lot to them, but while we're in their presence, let's speak life into them. I'm speaking mostly from the hood view, but women have been cheated on, beat on, and treated badly. Now the roles have been reversed. You getting beat on, Hector? Men especially of color. Hey, Shannon. That's another happily married one. And Sapphire. I love these happily married women. Join in. The topic is feminism. Now what? I'm speaking mostly from the hood view, but women have been cheated on, beat on, and are treated badly. Now the roles have been reversed. Men, especially of color, are staying home while the woman, especially the black one, goes to work. It's a plot to separate the minority families, divide and conquer. It's always been a plot. It's just now you're actually really seeing the impact of it, and it's really sad. And I think right now some women have so much hate, especially with like black women from the streets, from the hood, because a lot of us are tastemakers, right? We are the ones creating the art, and we are the ones creating the culture. So we're creating a culture, and if we have a culture of bashing black men and treating them like shit, then that's just going to adapt to the rest of the world, right? So now a lot of black men are looking at us, like Shane, you blame the music, but a lot of black men are looking at us and saying, hey, it's easier to be a woman. Let me go put some heels on, some lipstick and a wig, just like sis over there. Like a lot of my wig tutorials, it's a dude, it's not a female. I'm not watching a woman teach me how to do my hair. I'm watching men teach me how to do my hair. We are tough. Black women are tough, but that's because we, life can actually be tough for us in most cases, but I do think we create a lot of it ourselves, right? All right, let me keep going. Oh yeah, masculine men needs feminine. We talked about that, right? And the feminine need the masculine. We have to stop exerting power and work with each other and not against each other, right? Yin and yang, right? What I have to contribute, we don't have to contribute the same things, right? If you're going to work every day and you got these bills, homie, I ain't got to pay no bills, right? And especially think about it like this, sis. So if you got to pay to get your hair done, you got to pay to keep your nails done, you got to pay for them clothes, that makeup, you got to pay to constantly look nice. What is he paying for? A haircut? Maybe some cologne that you probably even bought yourself because you want him to smell good. So why should you pay bills? But that's a whole topic for a whole nother that's a topic for a whole nother day. But you have energy that you can give him that he will really appreciate. Communication. What do you want from a man? Ooh, that's a good question for you guys. What do you actually want from a man? Whether you're married or not, what do you want from a man? Hey, Nisi. You know, I think even if you don't tell me now, that's a conversation that you can, that's something that you can think about for yourself, right? So then that can actually start your negotiations. And then from there, you can communicate with your man and say, hey, this is what I need from you. What do you need from me in order to, so that we can meet somewhere in the middle and both be happy. And a lot of men don't even know how to communicate that, but you guys can work together enough to figure it out. So now that we're here, right? So we are here today with the issues that feminism has brought us and the issues that toxic patriarchy has brought us. Like, now what, right? So like I said in the beginning, feminism is an amazing thing. There's nothing wrong with feminism as far as having equal white rights among both men and women. However, I'm losing people. Where y'all going? But anyhow, I just got some bullet points, right? So work and education. I think everybody should be educated, male or female, you know, and I understand a lot of people don't really view education as valuable. They think they should go off and get a trade, but I think both. Like, you know, you should be educated, you should be cultured, because the world is getting smaller by the day. And the more you know, the greater your network can be, right? Low income people, you get to go to community college for free. So there's really no reason for you not to go to school. Stop getting degrees that don't serve you, i.e. business management. I don't even understand when you can Google that, you know, and even if you get the degree in business management, it does not do anything for you, because what happens as an entrepreneur or a manager of a store or whatnot, that's literally like firsthand accounts. Like, you need that experience to understand how to handle things. No book is going to tell you that. We talked about this a little bit earlier. Work is a means to an end. We do not have to work as females. That's not a requirement of us. It should not be a requirement of us. If I have children, if you want me to take care of the house, then we're going to have to negotiate. We're going to have to figure this out, right? Because that is a huge job in itself. It's just taking care of a child. Have you had a toddler? My house is never clean, okay? Never clean. I have chips in my brand new couch right now. Yeah, communication is a tough one, Brittany. A tough one. It's just like, it's something that you have to constantly work on. And I know you're newlywed, just like I'm a newlywed, and communication is tough. I think, where are we? We don't have to work. We don't want to. Oh, right. So we, as women, usually don't really see our value. Like, nowadays, don't see our value unless we have some fancy career or we're bringing home money, which is so strange, because it's like, okay, if I'm, as a woman, if I'm bringing home money, right, to contribute to the household 50-50, if I'm the main one taking care of the kids, right, making sure that they bathe, making sure that, you know, we communicate effectively with their teachers, making sure that the house remains clean, like all of these different things, right? Making sure the house is beautiful, make sure that it smells good, washing my husband's clothes, so on and so forth. Like, why do I need to do all of that and work too, right? Even if you're not doing that, because I'm gonna be honest, I hire a cleaning person. I do. It's a sad truth. I hire a cleaning person because it just gets to be too much sometimes. But I still don't feel like I should have to work if I don't want to. I work now because I want to. So we go motherhood and carrying the next generation. Oh, right, that's our main purpose is as women is carrying the next generation forward, right? We are each like responsible for our own nations and what that looked like. So now, if you fast forward and your kids are all shit, excuse my language, you can literally attribute that back probably to you not being fully present in the home. Reproductive rights. Abortion is not birth control. I'm gonna say it one more time. Abortion is not birth control. That's something that you should be using in case of an emergency situation where you have to terminate a pregnancy. But just because you're irresponsible, that's not fair. Hey, Kiana. If we're making smart choices, right, we should be free from birth control and even abortions from time to time, depending on the situation, because sometimes it's some extreme circumstances. And if you know your body well enough, you don't need birth control. That's the truth. I know exactly when I ovulate. We have apps nowadays that track it, so it's so much easier for us. And birth control has so many side effects, and they don't tell us. They don't tell us about all of the side effects, right? Birth control actually does cause endometriosis. Did I say that right? Endometriosis, fibroids, right? PCOS, all of these different issues that a lot of women face and why a lot of women are no longer fertile, right? They've been taking birth control from 14 to 30, and then once they're ready to get off, they can't have kids, right? So learn your cycle, learn what that looks like. For you, I think for feminism, we should be focusing on maternity health care, right? Specifically for minority women. Black women are dying at a much greater rate than white women are. They are sterilizing Native American women without their permission. There's a lot of stillbirths. Do you know, I had a friend, Tracy, shout out to Mind Evolution. She told me that when she's a nurse full time, she's also a poet, but she told me that while she was in nursing school, they told her that she needs to push the needle into Black people, like jam it into Black people because their skin is thicker. Like, I just want that to sit there. And I also had a crazy birthing experience with Novella myself. I'll post a YouTube video after we get off. But basically, they accidentally induced me early and they didn't tell me anything. And so I basically spent about 44 hours in labor trying to get this kid out of me before I had a C-section. And then there was issues that followed that. You got people like Beyonce and Serena Williams and even Judge Hatchett. Her daughter-in-law died giving childbirth. So those are some things we really should be fighting, right? Not each other. Not each other. Love and relationships. So this is a real huge one, and I have a lot of pointers. Choose well, right? Stop choosing crappy men. I'm not over here advocating for all men. I'm not saying that all men are deserving of, having you or you being, nice to them, because that is not the truth at all, But if you choose well, make sure you're choosing the right men. Stop going after these projects. Like, if he should already have he should already have the basics by the time, he's a man, is, certain things should already be instilled. It's not for you to raise somebody else's man. Your job is to teach him how to love you, not to raise him to manhood. Right. Because before you know it, you're going to be taking care of him and his kids, like, from different women. Ask him questions, right? Like, what's his thought process on taking care of a family? What's his purpose in life, right? What type of man do you want to be, or what type of man are you? Those are the type of questions that we really should be asking the men before we decide to jump into bed with them. Because, like, you have to pay really close attention, right, to certain things, right? If he treats the waiter bad and you're at a restaurant, that's a red flag, right? If he calls another woman a bitch, sis, he may not have called you a bitch yet, but it ain't gonna be long before he does. what's the right man? What do you mean, what's the right man? Every person is different. So everyone has a different requirement, right? So a man, and I think Shane, Hector, I mean, you're you're a decent man. Like, you take care of your kids, right? I'm gonna just tell them a little bit about you. Let me know if you want me to stop, but he was married for quite a while, and his wife passed away several years ago. And so now he's taking care of his children with her, plus her child from a previous relationship, right? He took them, uprooted them, and now they live in a whole nother state outside of Connecticut, and he's handling his business, right? He's handling his business. I do think some men struggle too, because a lot of us as women, we also have trauma from our parents, right? Or maybe the environment that we grew up in. And men are the same. We can't necessarily expect men to be that strong also. So we should help them too. Like, hey, push them, go to therapy, right? Go participate in some program or whatnot, and listen to them, help them. Sorry, my computer's getting hot on my lap. That's why Black women is so tough. We need Black men who we don't have to raise. Sis, you just said a mouthful. Right? But that is like a man, like, there are so many men out here who we do not have to raise. I'm losing people left and right, but that's okay. I'm wrapping it up. But and so many really good men out here who we don't have to raise. Like, everybody is going to come to you with a problem, but you got to make sure their problem is actually worth dealing with, right? Because you'll have the dude who don't want to get a job, who not taking care of his children or whatever, who's disrespecting women left and right, and at the same time, he thinks you're going to financially provide for him, but he wants you to listen to him and acquiesce to his leadership, submit to his leadership. Bye. I'm not here for that. Ask him questions. If shit hits the fan, excuse my language, what will your response be, right? So if somebody runs up in this house and we sleep, what you gonna do? You know what I mean? Like, if a cop comes and, he knocking on our car window or whatnot, and he pulls out his gun, what are you going to do? Like, you got to ask these questions to find out what kind of man he is, right? Is he a protector, a provider, and a pursuer? Those are very basic biblical. Here's the thing, though, and a lot of men won't like saying this, but as women, we don't have a reason to submit to a man who cannot do anything for us. Bottom line. If you cannot do anything for me, I have no reason to submit to you. So, she's about to fall. I have no reason to submit to you. None whatsoever. So don't ask me to. Don't expect me to. I wouldn't even be with a man like that. Learn him, right? Cater to him the way he needs to be catered to. Know his love language, right? All relationships are different. Take relationships just as serious as you take work and school. What else? Treat him well, show him respect. It may look different for him than it does for you. That's a real big one, because we expect men to want to be loved the same way that we want to be loved. But you got to find a man that you want to respect, though. So that's a big one. And you're worthy. You are worthy. You are worthy of a protector, a provider, and a pursuer. Know that, right? Know that. There's plenty of them out there. Understand you are the energy. You are the energy that you emit. That's the note here. So whatever you put out is what you're going to get back, right? Or the opposite. Stop chasing men. Let him call you. Don't you call him. It's not fun. Don't approach him in the bar. That ain't cool. We're not doing any of that. This whole sexually liberated thing, I'm just not really for. Obviously, that's something new, because when I was younger, I was all for it. Brittany, we got stories, girl. We got stories. But as of right now, I think now, being more knowledgeable with soul ties and how, you can allow a man access to your body, and whatever it is that he's dealing with will enter inside you, and now you're trying to figure out why you're depressed, right? Or why your life is going all crazy, is because you just allowed a level of energy in you that has some problems. That's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day, but that was the point I wanted to make. Self-love is another point for feminism. You have to be comfortable with yourself, right? Stop being a slave to your fear. Allow yourself to be vulnerable. Forgive Black men like you forgive white men. Stop having casual sex. Be committed to your healing. So whatever that looks like, if you have to go see a therapist every single week, do that. Journal. Self-care. And laugh, sis. Laugh. Find the silliest things. Laugh at. If you trip, you fall, laugh. Because as long as you don't hurt yourself, laugh. Motherhood. Take pride in being a mom. I think the biggest thing that kills me too is a lot of women act as if being a mom is a burden. I feel like I haven't lived before 2 years ago. Nurture them babies, know them, like study them, right? Just like you have to study a husband too, but study them babies, know them. Be better than your mom was to you. That's the point, I had a conversation with my mom. Oh, she just joined. Hi, Ma. Hey, Corinthian. I had a conversation with my mom and we talked about my childhood, and she broke it down to me. I don't think she realized she broke it down to me, but what she said, the short end of it was, look, I did the best I could with what I knew, which was better than what my grandmother had done for her, which is amazing because each generation is supposed to build off what the last generation taught them, right? So give them babies the best, not material wise, but put them in a position where they can level up in life. Best schools, being cultured, learn a foreign language, hug them constantly, right? Be kind, speak life, protect them, love them. Stop shaming. That's a big one, right? So that's for the entire ways to balance feminism today. Stop shaming. Like, just because sis wants to she doesn't want to work, that's fine. Sis want to work, that's fine. Sis want to be an entrepreneur, that's fine. Sis want a husband, that's okay. Sis don't want a husband, that's okay. Stop shaming. Let her live her life. So in conclusion, yay, we're at the end. A little bit over an hour, but we did it. Women are goddesses, right? Fierce and fabulous. Black women are feminine warriors. Mother Earth, we need to conduct ourselves as such, right? Thank you for tuning in. Again, I created this podcast because I see a lot of women who are hurt and operating out of that pain. So also because a lot of women are ill-informed, and whatever little bit of knowledge that I have, I want to share. Let me know your thoughts, what you think of this episode, what type of topics you would like to discuss. If you would like Novella to come back on as my special guest. And make sure to visit apfemininity.com. Follow the movement on IG at apfemininity and subscribe on YouTube, Art and Power of Femininity. Next week's episode is Black Motherhood, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Monday, 7 p.m. Bye, guys.